problems faced by women entrepreneurs. We can classify it into 4 categories, say entry barriers, setting up businesses, operations, and growth. Problems that you face in growth. Entry barriers. Women themselves are very reluctant at times to face the kind of conflict this creates at home. And typically in a family, women would be less educated than men. So this is one part of the barrier, that they do want to set up a business. That part has been taken care of to some extent. So this why women stop is a combination of being able to do so in terms of the society and in terms of the family and the other pressures. Most of them were just looking to make a certain amount of money and be comfortable. Most of the women were not saying that I want to see my company as the largest company in this field, or I need to see 100 crore turnover. While for men, the growth goals were typically much larger. This is true in India, it's true in the US, it's true in most countries. And they have found that a good predictor of, if you look at a business 10 years later, a good predictor of its growth are the growth goals which you would set 10 years ago, and not so much as capital available or the size of the company or the education of the entrepreneur, none of these things. It is the goals that you set yourself. And typically women set lower goals for themselves, maybe because they have other demands on their time, and maybe because they don't feel that same need to prove themselves that in the field of business as the only way of proving, justifying their existence. Now the thing is, if you have come into business and you're doing it, you just may as well do it well. What is the point of getting into something and just lingering at the edges? So one thing that I can just advise, or women who want to be entrepreneurs, is that you must set yourself large goals. The second thing that I have let me just, funding. Women also tend to be scared of credit. They don't want to take large debt. They are scared of seeking funding. They don't apply. Women are good with relationships, but they won't apply their mind into creating that relationship with their bankers or their funding sources. That is a significant factor in restricting growth of women-owned enterprises. First, of course, is that you have to think big. You have to think in terms of making, maybe making your company the most successful in your chosen field. The second is, it is important to network. It is important to join the associations for business. It is important to take part in conferences. We tend to hang back. We tend not to go up and speak to strangers, but it's important to do that, because that is a lot of growth comes from new opportunities and linkages that are created in places like this. It's very important to not be risk averse, to seek funding and credits. It's important to go out and not be scared of large business, government contracts. We tend to hang back on that. It's important to go out and actively seek these businesses, which is where growth will eventually come from.